Associate Practice Lead at Frontier View, Matt Kindinger, joins us now to discuss the effects of the elections on the Ghanaian economy. Good afternoon, Matt. Thank you for joining us today. Now, given Ghana's track record of peaceful transitions of power, does this election pose a risk to the country, and who do you expect will win?
Well, thank you for having me on the program today. So in terms of the outlook for whether the elections present a risk to the peaceful transition of power in Ghana, we can't rule out some intimidation ahead of the election, like we've seen elsewhere in sub-Saharan Africa recently. But new laws have been introduced to try to mitigate against this. But by and large, we do expect them to be quite effective. We expect the elections to pass off peacefully. So, as you have mentioned, Ghana does have a very strong track record of peaceful transitions of power. You know, the first peaceful transition of power was in 1992, and we do expect this to continue this year. So we aren't particularly worried about the outcome. In terms of who we think will win, it's very difficult to call this year. The opinion polls are very close, but we think the incumbent, Mr. Akufo-Addo, and the NPP are probably to secure victory. But as I said, it could go either way because it's very close.
Now, one of the major challenges facing a new administration in 2021 will be a rise in public debt and a ballooning budget deficit. How will the outcome of the election affect government spending plans next year?
Yeah, so Ghana certainly has been very badly affected by the decline in global oil prices. The government before the coronavirus pandemic was assuming very significant oil revenues that was meant to finance a very ambitious infrastructure investment program and increased civil service wages and health spending, for example. This year, we are expecting the fiscal deficit to rise to 15% of GDP. It will remain around about 10% next year. So some pretty significant fiscal stress facing the new administration, whoever comes in next year. In terms of the different policy platforms for the different parties, so the NPP, Mr. Akufo-Addo's party, wants to stimulate the economy and focus on the development of steel and other industries like that. And the NDC wants to introduce tax cuts to stimulate employment growth. But either party, so whoever wins, will face really significant fiscal pressures. They will probably unlikely be able to fulfill their fiscal aims, and there's likely to be consolidation, tax increases and spending cuts, no matter who comes into power.
But the cedi has been remarkably stable during the second half of this year. So what's the outlook for the currency once a new administration is in place and the economy begins to recover?
Yeah, so the cedi has historically been one of the most volatile currencies in sub-Saharan Africa. 2019 was a very good example of this. But the central bank has been able to stabilize the currency over the last 6 months or so. So to an extent, the country has been insulated from the worst effects of the coronavirus pandemic from a currency perspective. Next year, the cedi is likely to fall. So we probably expect the central bank to stop these interventions. So this could mean more depreciation of the cedi. But interest rates are likely to rise towards the end of next year as inflation picks up and the economy picks up. So in summary, really, we expect some pretty significant depreciation of the currency in the first half of 2021, followed by some stabilization towards the end of the year.
Associate Practice Lead at Frontier View, Matt Kindinger, thank you for your time and do enjoy the rest of your day.